Class, we have now reached chapter 17 in the book of Revelation. Verse number 1. Then one of the seven angels who had the seven bowls came and spoke with me, saying, Come here, John, I will show you the judgment of the great harlot who sits on many waters, with whom the kings of the earth committed acts of immorality, and those who dwell on the earth were made drunk with the wine of her immorality. And he carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, full of blasphemous names, having 7 heads and 10 horns. She is the great harlot, we see. Idolatry, this represents idolatry and general unfaithfulness to God, and they are considered spiritual adultery in Scripture. She is said to sit on many waters. Revelation 17:15 specifically interprets the waters as representing peoples, multitudes, nations, and languages. The kings of the earth committed acts of immorality with the great harlot. The result of that union is the inhabitants of the earth are intoxicated with the wine of her adulteries. This suggests an unwholesome union of an apostate church with the state. John now sees that this woman is sitting on a scarlet beast covered with blasphemous names and with 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast is the same one as the beast rising from the sea in chapter 13, that is the Antichrist, the political empire of the last days. Verse 4, the woman was clothed in purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls, having in her hand a gold cup full of abominations and of the unclean things of her immorality, and on her forehead a name was written, a mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and of the abominations of the earth. The woman was clothed in purple and scarlet and adorned with gold and precious stones. This describes the incredible wealth in her possession, this great harlot. The woman held a gold cup full of abominations of the unclean things of her immorality. The cup is gold, and the contents are the filthy contaminants of her licentiousness. On her forehead a name was written, a mystery, Babylon the Great, mother of harlots and of the abominations of the earth. Here the woman is identified in some way with the mystery religions that were well known in the first century when John lived. The woman is called Babylon the Great. What seems to be in view is the establishment of a religion with a central temple and in contradistinction to the revealed faith of God. Babylon the Great is identified as the mother of harlots. Thus, the mystery religions constitute the mother of all unfaithfulness. Let's read verse 6. And I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the witnesses of Jesus. When I saw her, I wondered greatly. And the angel said to me, Why do you wonder? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carries her, which has the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The woman was drunk with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the witnesses of Jesus. Thus she is a persecutor of the saints of God. The result of what John saw was unmitigated astonishment. Perhaps what takes John's breath away at this point is his recognition that this is a religious system, purporting to be something it is not. Hence, the word unfaithfulness or harlot is used with regard to the great harlot. This strong imagery, converging the ideas of deceit and wickedness, may suggest a religious system purporting to represent the true God while actually doing the work of Satan. The angel who had one of the 7 bowls and had taken John into the wilderness to show him the great harlot observes John's astonishment and asked him, Why do you wonder? Then the angel promises to reveal the meaning of the woman and of the beast that carries her to John. Let's read verse 8. The beast that you saw was and is not, and it is about to come up out of the abyss and go to destruction. and those who dwell on the earth, whose name has not been written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, will wonder when they see the beast, that he was and is not and will come. Here is the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits, and they are 7 kings. 5 have fallen, 1 is, the other has not yet come, and when he comes, he must remain a little while. Let's look at the bullets to help explain this. The angel begins with the beast and speaks of him as the one who once was and now is not, but then will come out of the abyss only to go to its destruction. The abyss is a reference to the place of the dead. While awaiting destruction, the beast does create a marvelous effect of those inhabitants of the earth whose names are not written in the book of life. The angel stresses to John that the identification of this beast has need of a mind that is possessed of wisdom. The 7 heads of the beast represent 7 hills on which the woman sits. They also represent 7 kings, 5 of whom have fallen, 1 of whom exists at this time, and another who has not yet come, but when he does come, he will remain for a short while. Verse 11. The beast which was and is not is himself also an 8th, and is one of the 7, and goes to destruction. That is confusing, but hopefully we'll get an explanation in the bullets. The 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received a kingdom, but they receive authority as kings with the beast for 1 hour. These have one purpose. They give their power and authority to the beast. The angel explains that the beast or 7th king is also the 8th kingdom that belongs to the 7th and is going to go to the destruction. The 7 kingdoms probably refer to 7 oppressive kingdoms that constantly subjected the people of God to intense persecution. The 5 kingdoms of the past are the ones who have persecuted God's people, and we're referring to particularly his covenant people of Israel. We see Egypt referred to in Ezekiel, Nineveh or Assyria in Nahum, Babylon and Isaiah and Jeremiah, Persia and Daniel, and Greece and Daniel. And added to these 5 kingdoms would be the 6th, the Rome contemporary to John in his day. The 7th follows the 6th, the last day of persecution by a world empire. The 8th, the final expression of that 7th, which is actually one of the 7. So this 8th is the final days, and so we'll go from there and we'll get further explanation. 17 verse 12 identifies the 10 horns as being 10 kings who have not yet received a kingdom, but who will for the short duration of 1 hour. 1 hour, and that's not meaning a literal hour, but a short period of time, receive authority as kings along with the beast. And that's the Antichrist. They are apparently part of a final confederation of kingdoms, a final form of that 7th kingdom, or Rome, the kingdom of Rome. They have just one purpose, which is to give their power and authority to the beast. Verse 14. These will wage war against the Lamb. Now this is during a tribulation period and a revived Roman Empire, if you would, if you could describe it that way. This confederation that wage war against the Lamb, and that's Jesus. And the Lamb will overcome them because he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and those who are with him are the called and chosen and faithful. And the angel said to John, the waters which you saw where the harlot sits are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which you saw and the beasts, these will hate the harlot, and that's not the political kingdom, but the religious one, and will make her desolate and naked, and will eat her flesh and burn her up with fire. Let's look at the bullets. As a confederation, the 10 kings will make war with the Lamb. This proved not to be a fruitful enterprise. The Lamb overcomes them because he is the Lord of lords and King of kings, joining him in the conflict with the 10-horned, 7-headed beast, or all of those who are called of God as the elect and faithful. So there's a confederation of of a revived Roman Empire, 10 nations, and that opposes Christ and Israel. The angel explains that the many waters of Revelation 17:1, where the great harlot sits, are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. The angel also explains that the 10-horned, 7-headed beast will hate the great harlot. So the political kingdom, this revived Roman Empire, will hate the religious, the great harlot, under the false prophet. Once the immediate value of the great harlot is no longer a consideration, the hatred for her, espoused by the political system, asserts itself, and they bring her to ruin, leaving her naked, and eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Verse 17. For God has put it in their hearts to execute his purpose by having a common purpose, and by giving their kingdom to the beast, until the words of God will be fulfilled. The woman whom you saw is the great city which reigns over the kings of the earth. The angel then indicates to John that God actually put it in the hearts of this 10-horned, 7-headed beast, that revived confederation of the Roman Empire in the tribulation period, to accomplish his purpose by having a common purpose. And though the beast too will be judged, that's the Antichrist, and go into destruction, he nevertheless does accomplish the purpose of God by turning against the great harlot, that's the religious system, and bringing about her demise. That's the false prophet and the religious system. The angel finally identifies the woman, the great harlot, as the great city which reigns over the kings of the earth. Clearly, this city is Rome, the city that ruled over the world in John's day, because he lived in the Roman Empire, but not in the revived Roman Empire in the tribulation. But any first century reader would have noticed a reference to 7 hills in John's day, since almost every inhabitant of the Roman Empire knew that Rome was the city of 7 hills. This being the case, it is easy to understand why many scholars have concluded that the great harlot is the religious side of Rome, or the Roman Catholic Church. However, in the New American Commentary, Dr. Patterson concludes this, that wherever you find religion attempting to dilute the faith of the New Testament, you have an expression of Babylonianism. Babylon the Great stands for every human religious instigation and opposition to the revealed truth of Scripture, in particular the New Testament.